When first entering the Frank J. Baker House, ensconced within the serene embrace of Wilmette, Illinois, future owner Eric Bauer felt an unseen bond tethering his soul to this space, saying, "I walked into the living room and I said to my wife, I could see myself dying here." American architect Frank Lloyd Wright was certainly a man of superlatives. America's greatest architect, the country's most controversial builder, the most avant-garde 20th century interior designer. The list goes on. Undeniably, his indelible imprint on architectural history extends beyond America's borders, reverberating around the globe. Wright was a living titan, a giant amongst mortals, his legacy spanning the most vital epochs of architectural history, reshaping our bond with our man-made surroundings. When thinking of an individual with such astounding creative importance, you might be tempted to ask, what does it feel like to live in a Frank Lloyd Wright masterpiece? In today's episode of Old Money Mansions, we'll embark on a journey to unveil 4 key insights that answer this intriguing riddle. So sit back, allow yourself to relax and immerse yourself as we unfold the tale and describe what it feels like to live in a Frank Lloyd Wright house. Living in a Frank Lloyd Wright house first imparts an epiphany. Contrary to other dwellings where alterations are fashioned based on the owner's needs or whims, you must instead recalibrate your life to adapt to the space and spirit of a Wright home. Dwelling in such a space is not merely about having somewhere to rest your head, but rather about embracing a different rhythm of life, dictated by the idiosyncratic contours and ethos of the building itself. Indeed, Wright himself was keenly aware of the relationship between the building as an artwork and the building as a living space in his design philosophy, saying, "The space within becomes the reality of the building." Doug Lebrecht, owner of the Wright-designed Curtis and Lillian Meyer House, explains his journey of restoring his home to its erstwhile grandeur. This mission, he remarks, is fraught with an enormous sense of artistic and fiscal accountability. With the bulk of the refurbishment complete, Lebrecht observed that the home promotes a distinctive style of existence. He said, "The house sort of tells you how to live. I live differently when I'm there." Indeed, when residing in the Wright house, he found his daily routines subtly shifting to match the home's unique character. Lebrecht, usually not a morning person, in fact discovered himself defying his own habits to arise with the sun. The home, with its carefully calculated design, serves as a solar clock, summoning him to rise with the earliest rays of light. His mornings are now dictated by a peaceful ritual, as he savors his coffee while observing the avian activities in the serene early hours. He notes, "The sun comes in sort of like a sundial, and I get up, have my coffee, sit and watch the birds. That's my routine. It makes you live alongside nature." Similarly, drawing from their experiences, Dave McCardle, a former resident of Wright's 1901 Frank Henderson House and Frederick House in Barrington Hills, Illinois, resonates with this sentiment. He reflects, "Since every element of a Wright home is integrated with all other building elements, and with its surroundings, we notice other patterns and rhythms in life, and are more aware of when things become out of sync." Thus, living in a Frank Lloyd Wright house isn't merely an act of residence. It is a profound journey of adapting oneself, echoing Wright's philosophy of architecture as an integral, harmonious part of life and nature. Secondly, living in a Frank Lloyd Wright house carries not only a sense of unique aesthetic pleasure, but also a burden of expectations that the owners often find themselves navigating. This inherent pressure emerges from the overarching objective of respecting and preserving Wright's visionary design. The dilemma arises particularly in the realms of restoration and renovation, where every decision must be meticulously scrutinized. Undoubtedly, the fear of potentially tarnishing the original design, the risk of inciting critique from aficionados, or the dread of straying from Wright's intent can be daunting. Amy Bauer, Eric's wife and co-owner of the Frank J. Baker House in Wilmette, Illinois, recalls the apprehension she felt while initially opening up the house for viewing. "I felt so nervous to open the house up originally because I was afraid that people would have an opinion that we did something wrong. Therefore, owning a Frank Lloyd Wright house translates into an act of guardianship over a unique piece of architectural heritage. The inhabitants often bear the mantle of stewards, maintaining the integrity of the design and upholding Wright's vision with an unwavering commitment. This custodianship, while rewarding in terms of living within a work of art, can be formidable due to the need for comprehensive understanding of Wright's design ethos and unwavering dedication to conserving the structure's idiosyncratic attributes. In addition to the architectural responsibility, The intersection of privacy and public interest poses a further challenge for homeowners. Wright's houses, icons of architectural achievement, are magnets for enthusiasts, academics, and sightseers. Although some of Wright's designs are open for public viewing, most remain private residences, not intended for public accessibility. The struggle then becomes to harmonize the homeowner's rightful need for privacy with the public's fervor to savor and learn from Wright's architectural opuses. The allure of these architectural marvels can sometimes spur intrusive behavior from ardent fans or undue attention from the media. As the stewards of these homes navigate the landscape of living within an architectural masterpiece, they must also grapple with the dichotomy of privacy versus public curiosity. Balancing these aspects and living up to the expectations that come with owning a Wright house is a journey of constant negotiation and learning. As we've seen, Frank Lloyd Wright's architectural masterpieces undoubtedly carry a unique allure. As a consequence, you might think that when these distinguished residences appear on the real estate market, a frenzy of competitive bidding would ensue. After all, only around 400 of Wright's creations endure, making each a coveted rarity. Yet this conjecture falls markedly short of reality. Paradoxically, these homes often languish unsold for prolonged periods, sometimes necessitating significant reductions in their asking prices. To the uninitiated, it may seem baffling as to why houses designed by such a celebrated architect would encounter difficulty finding a new owner. Let's dive into the particulars on why this might be. First, predominantly constructed during the early to mid-20th century, most of Wright's houses are now advanced in age. This architectural seniority brings with it a cascade of maintenance challenges. The exquisite elements Wright favored, stained glass, intricate stonework, and wood paneling, demand meticulous upkeep. Locating artisans capable of restoring these unique features or sourcing suitable materials for their preservation is often a quest in itself. Furthermore, the task of renovation becomes even more arduous when dealing with a Wright house that has been bestowed landmark status. Any renovation proposals must pass muster with the local Landmarks Commission, bound by regulations intended to safeguard the historical authenticity of the structure. Some prospective buyers may not like these restrictions and move on, admits Barbara Gordon, Executive Director of the Frank Lloyd Wright Conservancy, an organization founded 3 decades ago to facilitate interaction and exchange of knowledge among the stewards of Wright's buildings. However, Gordon points out a significant caveat. Approximately half of the surviving Wright single-family houses lack the protections associated with landmark status. This lack of official designation, usually indicated in the property listing, means that any modifications to such homes might face fewer hurdles. Even within the landmark-protected cohort, many houses carry protections solely for their exteriors. As such, owners possess the flexibility to modernize interiors, such as bathrooms or kitchens, in a manner that respects the historic design language, yet allows the incorporation of contemporary conveniences. Ownership of a Frank Lloyd Wright house, therefore, is an intricate dance between preservation and modernization, and selling these architectural treasures presents a unique set of challenges that only the truly committed may be willing to undertake. Lastly, inhabiting a residence designed by Frank Lloyd Wright can evoke profound emotions that verge on the mystical, akin to engaging in a dialogue with a higher entity. This spiritual resonance is intimately interwoven with the emotionally stirring quality of Wright's designs and the deep bond with nature that his architectural ethos cultivates. For, as Wright himself said, form follows function that has been misunderstood. Form and function should be one, joined in a spiritual union. Indeed, the architectural compositions of Frank Lloyd Wright are renowned for their ability to elicit potent emotional responses from those fortunate enough to dwell within them. Wright's creations foster a harmonious balance that often imparts a sense of serenity, tranquility, and inspiration to their inhabitants. His ingenious blend of natural materials, organic forms, and meticulously planned geometry endows his spaces with a vitality that resonates with the human spirit. This intimate connection to Wright's architectural language can spark an elevated sense of consciousness and a heightened appreciation for the surrounding world's beauty and complexity. It often fosters a deeper understanding of our place within the grand tapestry of existence, enhancing our awareness of the interconnectedness of life. One poignant anecdote that encapsulates the profound emotional influence of a Wright residence comes from Dale Morgan, the owner of the Dorothy G. Turkle House in Detroit, Michigan. Morgan recalls an unforgettable occasion shortly after acquiring the Wright-designed home when they hosted a gathering for friends and family. One of our neighbors came into the music room and tears just started brimming down her cheeks. She said it was the most beautiful space she'd ever seen. This visitor, self-identified as an atheist of Jewish descent, confided in the couple that the room's breathtaking beauty had stirred within her a feeling that there must indeed be a God. Morgan thus reflected, "It's very interesting, the emotions that are evoked as people pass through different spaces in the house." His comment underscores the profound influence that Wright's architectural masterpieces can have on the human spirit. Living within these spaces does not merely offer a place to reside, but provides an immersive spiritual experience that nurtures a deep-seated appreciation for beauty, harmony, and the intricate complexities of our world. And now, we'd like to see you in the comments. Have you ever visited a Frank Lloyd Wright house and spent an extended amount of time in it? We love interacting with our viewers, and thanks once again for your continued viewership here at Old Money Mansions. Cheers, until next time.